Hello YouTube, I'm David with the David West channel. Well, today I wanted to show you some down and dirty, quick and easy bow drill. Just making it up out of a 2x4. I occasionally like to practice with a dry, straight grained 2x4. So probably not going to save this set. It's just something to knock out a little bit of practice, get a little satisfaction, a little enjoyment. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Of course, you'll want to pick a clear spot on this 2x4 with no knots. So that's going to be right here, and I'd like to make them about 12 inches long. And I'll go ahead and split that down for some kindling. Now we got another knot right here, so we won't get 12 inches. We'll just do the 10 inches. And we'll get my big whopping. Now this is the Corona saw. $20 at Lowe's. They don't cut as fast as all the other saws, but they're affordable and they stay sharp a long time. I own 3 of them. I keep one in my supplies in the house, one in the car, and then one in my toolbox. One of them I got at the flea market. So, love them. Love the Corona saw. And of course, breaking out the more companion stainless steel again. Very sharp, very durable. I can't split it down to the finished diameter, which would be about 3/4 of an inch, but I'd like to split it as close to that as possible. And once again, we'll be using these batonings in the fire that we make out of this. Don't know what kind of wood it is. Whenever you look at that tag on the bottom of a 2x4, it always says white wood. I've tried to investigate what that white wood is from Wikipedia. And it said it could be any one of 10 different varieties from around the world. So I didn't know that we were using exotic woods all this time, but you would think something like this, straight grain, would split easily, but sometimes they can be really hard to split out. So, and there's a lot of run out when you go to split a 2x4 too. So. All right, we already have a fireboard. Fireboard is done. All right, let's see if I can get away with splitting out a 3/4 inch. That's a little bit bigger. Let's see if it's gonna run out the same way. We might end up with something close to 3/4. And it did not. Let's just split this in half and see what happens. Because we could run out of options if we keep getting these runouts. Another run out. Let's go ahead and carefully split this. We've got something to work with on that end. All right. There's our blank. Let's go ahead and make it round. I think I'm gonna put you on time lapse. And we'll go ahead and use this blanket right here to catch the shavings. All right, 10-minute bow drill set. There it is. ready to go. That's just a shade bigger than 3/4 of an inch, which would be fine because it's very soft. You want to make sure that you get this bearing block in on center line this way and 90 degrees out this way. And that looks like it's off just a little bit, so I'll make that adjustment. I wonder if I could get somewhere where there isn't shade. How about right there? How about right there? So let me gather up this mess right down here and split out some of those drops off of this set, and we'll go ahead and try it out. Here's my finest stuff, and I'll go ahead and put the ember in, and this will sit in here, and these I'll feed on top as I need to. So let's go ahead and do the burn in. Fat wood bearing block as usual. And it has really gotten hot out here, so I'm glad I started early. Let's go ahead and do a burn in. All right. 2x4 on 2x4 shavings tender bundle. 2x4 shavings tender bundle. Really had to bear down hard to get this to even start to char. And you see there's not a lot of char on it, but that's because it's one of the pine products. Pine is not ideal, but you can make it work. You want to avoid as much of the fat wood as possible. And this did not have a lot in it. So let's go ahead and do our notch. Shadows again. That should produce nicely. I want to leave some of that char on there and just take off where it was shouldering out in my bearing block. That should work. Let's see if that's going to stay lit. Yes. And that's going to take a lot of coalescing. So we'll just drag around and take our time on this. I let all my embers coalesce at least 2 minutes. Now I'm not going to save this bow drill set. I'm going to burn it right up in the fire. This is just like a disposable set, just some quick and easy practice. And you see that's not a perfect cylinder. Doesn't have to be a perfect cylinder. Yeah, that ember's gone. For whatever reason, it didn't work this time. Let me post right here some videos of where I did make a shavings tinder bundle work. I'm just going to use some pine needles. I've got pine needles. All right, loblolly pine needles. If you're anticipating problems with shavings not being fine enough, or your tinder bundle not being fine enough, you'll want to transfer that ember over onto some punk wood or coal, any other coal extender. Ash tinder would work. Let's go ahead and get the fires, get the flames a rolling. And this time I used a different hole. I used this one here on the bearing block. Sweating all over the place. And there it goes. Oh, but that tinder bundle burns now. I'll give a chance for that to warm up. And the wind is blowing this way. Let's speed things up a little bit. I wouldn't say that this 2x4 seems to be all that flammable, does it? Makes good embers. All right, enough down here. I'm gonna take my knife and pick this up and put it over here on top of the sawhorse, and I'll reposition everything and we'll say our goodbyes.
And of course the wind is blowing from the backside, so let's turn it around again.
If this was easy, just anybody'd be able to do it. That's why even with the easiest materials that you can use, it still presents a bit of a challenge. Practice, practice, practice. All right, y'all. Grab you a 2x4. As long as it's straight grain and not a lot of knots, I think it's good practice. Don't let people throw off on your practice just because you're using a 2x4. It makes good sense. Thanks for joining me on this one. We'll catch you on the next one.